Hello, friends. My name is Steve, and we're here today to talk about our favorite movies from 2023, wrapping up the year. These are movies that didn't necessarily come out this year, just that we watched this year. So these will be older movies, newer movies, but not all that were released in 2023. So, Susana, will you start us off with an introduction?
Hello, my name is Susana Imaginario. I'm a writer and sometimes YouTuber at Den of the Weird.
So, how was your year with film?
Well, it was pretty bad. Yeah, we're talking a bit, but actually, my list is movies that were released in 2023.
Oh,
I watched a little bit more than that, but still, it was dreadful. I was guiding through Vero, which is very handy to record these things. Yeah, and so movies released in 2023, I watched 12. Actually, two don't count because I didn't finish two of them. And overall was 21. It's very, very sad. I went to the cinema once this year. I think it's the lowest since I don't know, since I started going to the cinema. It's really bad.
is that because of just the lack of interest, or is it something else?
Well, where I live now, the best cinema is about an hour away, and we have the dogs. It's almost a whole day event to go to the cinema these days. So sadly, I don't go as often as I would like. But there wasn't much to watch. So, what is your excuse?
Just I didn't really nothing really interest. There was a few I did watch a couple, but for the most part, just lack of interest. Like I have to really want to watch something now in the cinema with phones and kids crying and and people rustling around and talking during the movie and eating with their mouths open, and it's just like I have to really want to go to see something. So I just didn't have that motivation too much this year. I think I watched a few, but not that they were didn't make. Only I think one made my list that I watched. Well, actually two, actually. Yeah.
Any?
So what was yeah?
Yep.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna ask favorites.
Oh, well, the first one that it was released this year, because if we did, I tried to think of all the movies that were released this year that I watched, and it was very few. But this is one of them that I really liked is Infinity Pool.
Okay.
And I don't think it's perfect. I don't think it's not like a perfect movie, but it's thought provoking and it's kind of messy towards the end, I think. But it was one of the ones that stood out to me when I think back on the year.
I have not heard of that one, so I'm adding it to the list.
Oh, it's with Scars or forget his. I get all the Skarsgårds mixed up. It's him and
Alexander.
Mia Goth and some Alexander. There you go.
Okay.
And it's kind of it's kind of a trip mind bending identity type of movie. It's a fun film, but it can be dark, but it is one of those ones that make you think, and I can still think about it now, whether what was real, what wasn't real, that kind of thing, where it keeps you guessing for a long time, and there's not really any answers, and that's what's kind of fun about it is you can form your own theories, and you're never wrong. It could be, so it's kind of fun.
Okay, I'm adding it to the list. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. What was one of yours?
Uh, Again, I was doing the list. The favorite actually was not from 2023. I just realized it's from 2022, so let's not mention.
No, mention it. Yeah, let's talk about it.
Emily. It's a movie about the life of Emily Bront. But 2023, so I don't know. It's kind of I, I it kind of hurts me to say that because you, I would not expect to like this movie, but I enjoyed it. The Dungeons and Dragons. It was the most
Oh,
entertaining by far. Recently, I watched the Leave the World Behind, and I really enjoy
hmm.
it as well. So it's kind of a tie between those two completely different movies. One for entertainment and the other for making me think about things.
Huh. I did not see that coming.
I know.
Dungeons and Dragons. It looked like a fun. I haven't seen it, but it looked like a fun movie. It looked like it'd be just like fun.
Yeah, exactly. It's fun. It does, and it's not the sort of fun that it's dumbed down. It's not too preachy. It's very well acted, and everyone was It's just entertaining, and sometimes it's good to have movies like that are just pure entertainment.
Hmm.
And you don't even need to know
Yeah.
or play Dungeons and Dragons to understand what's going on. It's a lot more fun if you do, of course. But yeah, I think it was a successful movie. I was not expecting.
Hmm. I've heard they're planning a sequel, so it must have done okay,
Hmm. Yeah,
which is good. I mean, because we need more movies that are different and less superhero stuff. But
yeah. It really felt like you were on campaign. It's fun.
nice. Yeah. Let's see. Me, I'm just thinking back to the movies that I watched that were released in 2023, and it just that were not very many that I really like. A lot of them are kind of throw. Even like John Wick 4, like it's just
Yeah,
you can only watch him shoot people in the face so many times.
I watched that one as well. I think it was the weakest of all. It really
Hmm.
felt tired towards the end. It's like, no, you're not going up those stairs again. I can't.
Oh my gosh!
I
I
was
think I
like,
laughed out loud in the theater with that part. It's like,
yeah,
come on.
yeah, too much, just too much.
Oh, I just thought, come on, like just don't do this to me. Um, but one of the ones that were released in 2023, which I think this is just fun. It's like a fun movie. And at the end, it falls apart a little bit for me, the last 10 minutes, but that's Cocaine Bear. It's just
Oh,
like a dumb, fun movie. I don't know. I had a good time with it. I laughed and I mean, it's a movie about a bear high on cocaine, like killing people. I mean, it's like, I don't know. It was just fun. It was a nice break from all the serious stuff and the stuff with the message or, all the superhero stuff. So I don't know. It was like dumb fun, and I had a good time with it. The last 10 minutes were a little silly and kind of dumb, but I had a good time.
well, I heard good things. I mean, I guess it's one of those movies that is exactly what you are expecting. With a title like that, and if it delivers exactly what it says, then it's fun. It's entertainment. I'm not sure if I'm going to watch it. Maybe one day if there's nothing else, because it's not my type of fun. I don't know. It might surprise me, but I yeah, I don't know if I want to see a bear on cocaine. I can't even imagine. I mean, what I am imagining, I don't want to watch. I don't know.
It's just what you'd imagine, but it just pokes fun at just about everybody, but subtly pokes fun at people. And it's in the 80s, and it kind of pokes fun at that, and it has some of the cast of The Americans in it, so I enjoyed that too.
Okay.
Yeah, just dumb fun.
Dumb fun. Okay.
Mhm.
Fair enough. Other mentions. It's funny enough because I didn't go to the cinema. I watched. Get. It's not just the distance. All the streaming services they're up not going to the cinema. Yeah. So really enjoyed Seven Kings Must Die, but that's because I
Hmm.
just the Last Kingdom. I am a fan of the books and the series, so it was nice to wrap up thing. The way that they wrapped up was nice. I haven't read the last book yet, so I don't know if. Well, I'm pretty sure it's not going to be the same. But I enjoyed the ending. I think it was a bit rushed, but all
Hmm.
things considered, it was good. Um, what else? I didn't like Oppenheimer, so
No. Hmm.
no, that was the most disappointing movie of the year, I think, for me.
Oh, wow. Why didn't you? What was it about it you didn't enjoy?
It was too rushed. It was just scene after scene after scene with very excellent writing, acting. Everything was up there, but there was no time to digest any of the information, to actually let it sink
Hmm.
in, to delve into the characters. It was just, oh, here's another cameo and another cameo and another cameo, and and the, I think it focused too much on the personal stuff as well. There was a lot of unnecessary stuff going on, just too bloated, too much, too
Hmm.
bloated. Still a great movie, but yeah, it felt like it could have been better.
I can see that. I think it did. It, I think it was. I think with a movie like that, you can decide whether to make it about Oppenheimer himself, or you can make it about the atomic
Hmm.
bombs, and whatever went into it. And instead of picking one path, they almost picked both. And I think it leaned more into the personal stuff, maybe more than the bomb. Which I think that's the least the more interesting stuff for me would be the history behind the construction and the process that went into it. So it did feel it was a little long, but yeah, I did watch that this year. It didn't make my list though, just because I kind of forgot about it until you mentioned it.
See, easily
Yeah,
forgettable. Yeah.
yeah. One of the things that I don't. You mentioned the cameos. I think it's fun once in a while to have a cameo, but like some of these directors have their favorites, like their favorite actors, which is cool and everything. But you don't have to get all of your friends in all of your movies. Like it just seems a little forced sometimes.
Yeah.
Like you're expecting a Matt Damon cameo now in every Nolan film. Yeah. Let's see. So the rest of my list they weren't released in 2023, but these are the ones that stood out to me the most. I think if my list was only 2023, I'd have just two movies on it. But one of the ones that I saw this year that we've talked uh, about a scene in this film is Irreversible.
Hmm.
It's the form. I think it's told in reverse, and it is fast paced. It is just like it makes you feel anxious the whole time, just because of the pacing and the actors keep this level of just like um, urgency. This because they're
Hmm.
looking for
Running
someone,
about. Yeah.
and it feels yeah, it makes you feel almost like you're in it, and it makes you feel like it gives you that anxious feeling. But there's a scene in particular in this one that is, I mean, really difficult to watch, but it sticks with you for long after you've watched the movie, and it's long. There's no cuts in it, and I don't know how these two actors kept up the level
Hmm.
of intensity. It must have been very difficult to see, and I don't, or to shoot. I don't know the story behind it, but I'd be interested to see if there's maybe extras on the physical copies or something. But I wonder what went into that, or how they filmed that, or because it's very intense.
Uh, the little that I know about it, I watched it when it first came out. And actually, the first time I watched that particular scene, it was in an auditorium filled with people at university, because I was studying psychology, and the teacher
Hmm.
thought that it was important for us to watch, because most trauma in entertainment just fades to black. And it was important that we watch that, because we would listen to people telling stories or events like that, and we
Hmm.
couldn't flinch, we couldn't blink. So uh, I had very harsh teachers. And then I watched again the whole movie afterwards,
Yeah.
and I got the impression that Monica Bellucci, she was so that it was the movie was first offered to her husband, who is
Mm.
also, or at the time, husband was also in the movie and plays her husband in the movie. And he said he turned it down. And then when she heard about it, she said that she was interested in doing it because it was important to for her to just to have that movie out there, and it's particularly that scene because too often it's fade to black or it's brushed over, it's used as a plot device, and that it was important that people would sit through just to
Mm.
understand. And it's awful. Yeah, it's about 8 minutes, no cuts, and you'll never forget.
Mm. No, never forget that one. Definitely.
But how she
What's
got
the
through
next
it,
one
I
on
don't know.
your list? Oh,
Amazing
I don't
actress.
know. Yeah, I wonder how the two actors just kind of how they communicated, or how they managed to get through that. If they had a like a practice run, or I don't know. I'd be interested to see how they were able to film that the way they did, and um, yeah, just kind of what went into it.
Well, funny enough, I do have the DVD. I never watched DVD.
Mm.
It wasn't mine. It was left by one of my husband's roommates, something like that, and we never got about to watch it. But I'll check. Maybe there's something there that we can learn. It's an
Mm.
old DVD,
Yeah.
so back in the day when they still had extras. So we'll see.
Yeah. I know. Yeah. The good old days.
Hmm. Have you ever watched Malena? I don't know how to pronounce.
I haven't.
So add that to the list. And seriously, she's an amazing actress, and that is again a very good movie.
Yeah, I'll check it out. What's the next one on your list?
Well, movies that I from different years watched this year. Um, well, I've been rewatching the Alien series for some reason.
Hmm. I don't know why. Yeah.
Now I'm itching to get to Alien 4 now. It's like
I
we
know.
still
I
need to do
know.
the Alien 3. That's okay.
I know.
Um, it's like yeah, I've mostly rewatched um, movies. Tremors, Stargate.
Hmm.
Um, I love all the oldies. Looking at any that I watched for the first time.
I didn't even think to use Vero for that. Completely forgot that it logs all that stuff.
It's the thing is logs the series as well, and I was just thinking, oh, you watched a lot of series. Um, yeah, I don't think I watched anything new that I yeah was all rewatched. Oh no, there was one right on the cusp. Gods of Egypt. I never
Oh.
watched when it came out, and because everyone said it was awful, and yeah, it's not very good. But because my next book
Hmm.
is inspired by Egyptian mythology, so I figured I should give it a watch. And it was one of those movies that so much potential, so many missed opportunities. It has moments of genius where they really, really grasp the mythology, the gods' personalities, and at the same time they dumb it down so much. It was painful. So yeah, lots of hits and misses. It wasn't as bad as I was expecting. It's still quite entertaining, and lots of Easter eggs if you know the mythology. But at the same
Hmm.
time, if you don't, you live with the idea that Egyptian mythology is just a cartoon, which is kind of sad.
Hmm. Hmm.
And yeah, the rest were all rewatches, all from the 90s.
Yeah.
I seem to be stuck in the 90s. It's just what it is.
You know, um, yeah, it's things have been pretty slim or pretty sad lately with film. There's a lot out there. I think it's hard to find. There's it's nice because there's all these different streaming services, but it's a lot to keep up with all of it.
Mm. Yeah,
Unless somebody recommends something to you.
exactly. And series, I do watch a lot of series now. But in a nutshell, since I made the list, so movies from this year that I watched, mentioned Leave the World Behind. I really enjoyed that
Hmm.
one. I recommend. I think it's Netflix. I I think it's Netflix. Seven Kings Must Die. If you are a fan of The Last Kingdom, great. Oppenheimer, of course. There's no need to introduce the movie. It was disappointing for me, but still a very good one. Haunting in Venice.
Hmm.
It's fun. It's fine. Um, Not the best, I think, but I love the setting. So
Hmm.
it's worth it just for that. The really really cool setting. Indiana Jones. That was the last one I
Hmm.
watched. Um,
Oh, what do you think about that one?
I went in with very low expectations because I hated the previous one. Let's not mention. I went in expecting something worse than that. So it wasn't worse than that.
Hmm.
It's still miles away from the original trilogy, and there were many eye roll moments. But it wasn't that bad. I think it was one of these cases. I didn't think it was that bad.
Hmm.
You watch it? No.
Huh. No, I didn't even bother. No, it just I think these series they're trying to kind of remake and revamp and reboot, and it's just kind of I don't know.
Mm. It, yeah. It, it felt like a copy of Indiana Jones, but yeah, even a bad Indiana Jones, it's good enough sometimes.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
65, I hated it with a passion.
Hmm. Wow.
Yeah, it was just a mashup of Alien with Jurassic Park, with I don't know, nothing felt original in that movie. And why did you have to spell the whole plot at the beginning? That's not how you do prologues. I was
Yeah.
expecting something different towards the end, but no, it happened exactly as it said it was going to happen. Just don't do that. Um, Knock at the Cabin was fun. You know,
Hmm.
fine. Dungeons and Dragons also lots of fun. Ant-Man not fun. Don't recommend. Just no. That was me giving up on Marvel movies for good. I can't. Just, no, I
Wow.
won't even mention.
Is that bad? Huh?
It was. It was that bad. There was no need to be that bad. Even considering it was Ant-Man, just there was no need. I mean, they have this gold mine. They build up this gold mine of the multiverse, and they ruin it. Seriously, why? It's sad. John Wick, one too many, I think.
Hmm.
And then I two movies I didn't even finish because I disliked them so much. One was Babylon.
Hmm.
Didn't like it at all. Just I don't even know what to make of it. And The Creator.
The creator. Well, which one's that?
Oh, Good grief.
It sounds familiar.
It was very hyped when it came out. Has lots of I don't know if they're famous, but familiar faces. But again,
Oh, okay.
I didn't like it. It was there was nothing new there. It was just rip off of almost scene by scene of movies that I like. I don't like the actor. I think he's terrible. He's a
Hmm.
terrible actor. Um, and yeah, it was just so dull throughout. Trying to be something, they were really trying to get some emotion and action, to me, it just fell flat. I couldn't relate or care about anything, and
Hmm.
yeah.
Oh, well. I was on the fence about that one, about the creator, because it looked, that had that sci-fi look, and then it bombed at the box office. So I thought most movies that look different and bomb are usually ones I like. But no, I'll probably pass
No,
on it.
you might. I mean, I have weird taste sometimes. I'm very fussy. One of my pet peeves, and this might sound a bit hypocritical, but there's a very thin line between being inspired by someone else's work, or make have an homage to this particular scene or character in your work, and then just adapting or copying it. And I don't know. I can't explain why. Sometimes I'm like, oh, this is great, very well done, and other times it just makes me cringe. And this one made me cringe.
Oh wow, well that's not good. Yeah, I don't know about that then.
Without spoilers,
As
that's all I'm going to say. Yeah.
well, that's why I can never be like an author or make a movie, because if I did, it would just unintentionally be like a mishmash of all the stuff I like. Like it'd just be copies, it's just like bits and pieces of other stuff that I enjoy. So that's why I can never do it, because I
No,
just
but that's what every news story is. Everything has been written. Every story has been told. It's just how you assemble it.
that's fair. Let's see. The rest of the ones that I didn't see this year, a lot of A24, because I did that A24 videos in 24 days. Um, One of the ones on there was a Florida project. It's a bunch of I think Willem Dafoe was the only actor in that one. I think the rest were just people that they hired, not trained actors. Um, that was I didn't expect to like it so much, but it was pretty good.
It worked. Okay.
Um, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. I didn't expect it to work, and it started off. It starts off kind of slow, but I think it's about these struggling families who live in this little apartment building, who are just kind of day to day living in this place. It's right next to Disney World in Florida, and it's an interesting contrast to see people struggling to make they're on the verge of homelessness, and right next to Disney World, which is this magical place or whatever. And it's like in this shadow of Disney World. These people are struggling, just trying to make ends meet, and doing things they shouldn't be doing to do that. But I thought I enjoyed it. It was a lot more impactful than I expected it to be.
Cool.
Yeah, and I did hear that I guess Britney Spears was almost cast as the one of the major characters in the film. So it would have been interesting to see how that would have worked out. But the actress who was in who actually played the role, I think did a really good job too. Let's see. Um, the Green Knight, watched this year too. Another A24 movie. That's another one that you can have a lot of different. It'll keep you thinking, and I think the end will. It's without spoiling too much. I think it's one that'll keep you with, theories and reasons why it ended the way it did. But
I
the
didn't
one I
get
really
to the
liked.
end. I stopped halfway through.
Oh, you DNF'd.
DNF.
You DNF'd it.
Oops.
Yeah, that's fair. It is a little. It does sag at times, but in the end
Oh
makes up
gosh,
for
I
it.
remember there was one scene that it went after already being, almost stopped for about 2 minutes. It actually went 360 around. I think it was the last
Oh
scene.
yeah,
I was like, oh, no, I'm done. I can't watch this.
yeah. I can see that. It's very stylized. There's a certain style it has, and it has a certain kind of feel to it. So in a way, that's good if you're into that. If not, then it's you won't enjoy it. Let's see. Another one that I watched, another A24 movie, was Causeway. Jennifer Lawrence. I'm kind of surprised she did such a really. I mean, I know she has chops, but I think she did a really good job in this one. It's an exploration of PTSD and depression, and
Oh.
kind of what it can do to you or how it can impact you. And she's a vet. She's a veteran who comes back home, and I always think it's interesting to see how someone who goes off to fight in these wars and goes through what they go through, and then they come back home
Mm.
to a bunch of people who don't know. They're just living their lives. Their lives keep on going, but your life almost pauses because you're not there. You're around the world or wherever trying to survive too. So I always love those kind of stories that explore those kind of things, that you come home after an experience like that. How do you relate to anyone who hasn't been through those same things? It must be really odd to have gone through something like that and then come back home to people who have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
They can't. It's not their fault. They just can't relate to you.
I'll add
But
it to my list. It sounds interesting.
yeah,
Mm.
there's I won't say what it is because I don't want to ruin it. But there is a a plot line in there that I wasn't a big fan of. It's something I think we've talked about before with characters, but I won't spoil it. But I'm curious to hear your thoughts if you get to it. Let's see what else. I finally watched Train to Busan. Have you seen that one?
No,
The zombie movie.
I don't know why. It's just never something I used to. And it's a type
Hmm.
of storytelling as well, that, yeah, it rarely appeals. So
Hmm. I forgot you're not a big horror fan. Yeah.
yeah, I don't mind horror, but I guess I don't get horror. Well,
Yeah, yeah, that's fair. Um, I have three more. Do you have any more on your list?
not from 2023, no. Only rewatches.
Oh,
No, of movies that I would like to talk about on the channel and I ended up not talking about on the channel. As I mentioned, Stargate. I'm going to talk on the channel with Livia, I hope, because she's a fan as well. So
oh, cool.
maybe uh, we'll get to that. Um, and Tremors, of course, always a favorite.
Hmm.
And Only Lovers Left Alive. When we talked about it,
Yes.
that was still this year. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. And Tombstone, Monsters, The Mummy. Yeah, see, yeah.
Oh wow.
Snow White, The Man from Earth, World War Z, Bullet Train. I really enjoy Bullet Train, and World War Z actually,
Hmm.
even though that one was a rewatch. Top Gun, and then the new Top Gun, because of course, yeah, those are not from this year. Brain of Fire.
Hmm.
I think it's it's underrated in general, but overrated for the wrong things. Like, I really need to talk about this movie one day. Cloud
Oh,
Atlas,
which one was that?
Rain of Fire,
Rain of Fire.
Christian Bale and Matthew McConaughey.
Oh, Woody Harrelson. Yeah.
Dragons, yes. Pitch Black, Cloud Atlas,
Hmm.
3,000 Years of Longing, The Lost City. Again, I kind of like that one. I'm almost ashamed to admit, but yeah. Doctor
Hmm.
Strange, Master and Commander. Love that movie. I don't know how many times I watch it now. The Gentleman, really funny
Oh,
as well.
yeah, I love that one. Hmm.
And yeah, that's that's it. That was my year.
Hmm.
Maybe the last three already. I don't know. My last 15 months of movies, more or less.
Yeah, I think the other three I have weren't from this year. Was Her, and
Mm-hmm.
that one I think that one hits a little close to home because I don't think we're that far off from AI companions to
Oh, I'm so glad you mentioned that because it's been on my list for years. And it's one of those
mm,
that I can't find it anywhere, but I haven't looked for recently. So
mm.
I'll definitely need to find it.
Yeah, it's a good one. I think I think it was made in 2015. I think, and I'm surprised how close they were,
Hmm.
even technology, what it's getting to today. Because now there's apps that do almost what this movie portrays. I don't know that's quite to that level yet, but it's on its way, and it's it makes you wonder about companionship and if someone is lonely, is it a good or bad thing that they can have an AI companion that does whatever says whatever they want them to say, or is it's a whole other topic. But
Okay. Well, definitely on the list.
yeah, be a good one to discuss for sure. The only two I think these last two were actually one of my all time favorites. I think both of them were in my maybe top 10 all time. That is A Ghost Story. I didn't expect to like it so much. I didn't know what to expect. I think the vibe you get from the movie poster from the cover isn't at all what the movie's about. It looks a little. I thought it was like a more like a silly movie because it's a person with a sheet over their face, like a bed sheet
Mm-hmm.
with eyes cut out. And that one really, um, it's it's different because there's not a lot of dialogue. A lot is told through visually what the characters are doing, and one of the characters has a sheet. Almost the whole movie. So that one was pretty good. I was surprised how much I liked it. If you're a fan of grief, like grief horror or quiet horror, that's one you might enjoy. It's really touching movie. And the
Okay.
last one um, was of a director we mentioned earlier, which is Enter the Void. That one, wow.
Sounds familiar, but mm,
It's from I forget the Gaspar Noé,
no,
and I watched it
definitely.
because he's.
Yep, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just saying that I have not watched it. It's definitely not.
Hmm. If you, I will say that if you're sensitive to strobe lights,
Hmm.
you might want to pass because I know some people have, like a sensitivity to flashing lights. Um, but if you can handle all the flashing lights, it's a mind bending experience. It's quite the ride.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I watched it because of Irreversible. Really wanted to see more from the director, and wow, it's one you'll think about long after you watch it. It's pretty intense, and a lot of it is first person. It's like from your point of view, it's first person, or you kind of the cameras kind of float through walls, and the presentation, the way that they tell the story, is very very unique, and visually, it's I don't know, blew my mind. How I still wonder how they shot a lot of the scenes and how they did a lot of it, just because it's so unique.
Well, I'm sold. I mean, just looking at the blurb, and if it's the same director, yeah, definitely. Now, where to find it? Just,
Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing.
okay.
And you would think with all these streaming services, there wouldn't be that problem anymore, but here we are.
Don't like anything that would make you think, or that, especially if you say it has flashing lights, anything with more than a couple trigger warnings, it's avoided.
Yeah. Well, this definitely has all the trigger warnings in it. If it had any, it had all of them. It would just put them all as copy paste and put them all in there because it's pretty much has everything.
Well, I will look for it.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's quite the experience. Yeah. But it's one. Yeah. I would love to talk about it someday because it's a wild ride.
Cool. Like I said, you convinced me to transfer. I'll find it. Can't be that hard.
Yeah. If you like Into the Void, I think it's some of the same techniques or I'm sorry, if you liked it Reversible, some of the same techniques he used in Irreversible, he uses in Into the Void, but it's ramped up to 1,000.
Okay.
So you'll notice some similarities, but he goes, just wild in this one. And I don't know, I'm surprised more people don't talk about it. Honest, I mean, I've heard about it before, but it's one of those that you won't forget.
Okay.
For sure. But cool. Anything else, or do any mentions for worst of the year? I know you mentioned Ant-Man.
I already mentioned
ones that were...
my DNFs, yes. And Ant-Man, I couldn't DNF because that was the one I watched at the cinema, but I would have left or stopped if I was at home. The Creator in Babylon, those are really bad for me. Anyway. But yeah. Anything that you're looking forward to watch in 2024?
No.
No.
Just, no,
that was another sad
that's
realization. Just no.
Yeah, I thought about it. I can't think of anything really. The cinema is sad state of affairs. I think they're realizing now that you can't just keep recycling these superhero films. And I dropped out of the Marvel stuff 10 years ago, and now that now that those aren't making money, I think they're trying to figure out what will. And we're in this weird transition period where they're trying to figure out what's going to make money, what's not. So I think a lot of the best films are on streaming services now, and it's hard to find them, or it's hard to kind of get excited about them when they just kind of pop up. It's not like it was, back even 5-10 years ago when there's films that were being released this year you're looking forward to and following, and they're filming or they're finishing up or there'll be a release date. Those days are kind of over now. I don't keep up with that at all.
Yeah, me too. But I held on for as long as I could. But yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't do it. Just
I was no. It actually, because of Ant-Man, I was like, I'm done. And then of course Loki season 2 came up, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to watch this, aren't I? Fine. And so it ended up very well. I think it was one of the best Marvel stuff in the last 5-6 years, or pretty much since Infinity Wars. So I'm gonna leave it there on a positive note, and maybe in a few years from now I will rewatch some of the movies from the beginning. I'll go back to Iron Man and the first Thor, and just for nostalgia's sake, when I'm not so angry. I take storytelling very seriously. Yeah,
I can tell. Yeah.
Not serious enough to go online and rant at people in forums. But if you ask, if the subject comes up, all the pent up frustrations come up as well.
Yeah, it can get bad. I
Yeah.
think the only two that stick out to me that were really bad this year for me were which, and I think it's good to have movies that are different, and even if they don't work for me, I think it's cool that they're made. Is In Fabric. I tried watching that, and that was not a good time. Just didn't work for me at all.
In
And the other one
Fabric?
was Skinamarink. I know people
Oh.
In Fabric. Yeah, it's about
Mhm.
a haunted dress, basically. It's a very, yeah, that was a mistake. And Skinamarink was one of the ones that I know some people like it, but it was mind-numbingly, it was so boring. And it's one of those ones that either you love it or you hate it. But I'm glad they make movies that people like. I mean, even if I don't, but wow, that was a waste of time for me. But if you like it, I'm happy for you, but you weren't for me at all. It just didn't work.
Okay. I never heard of. But anyway, I'm looking forward to continue our Alien discussions. Ready watch Alien 3. I'm gonna watch. I can't wait to rewatch Alien 4 because I haven't watched that one. Uh, I don't know, maybe over 10 years, which is a lot for me. And then will brace myself for everything else. I haven't watched the last one, so it's gonna. I'm looking forward to those discussions. Um,
Yes,
I,
me too.
and it's been great. Just Alien specifically. I haven't watched Alien in so long because Aliens is my movie. But watching it again, just with a critical eye, and yeah, it's a whole new experience. So, yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, yeah. We'll get back on track with that. And cool. Um, awesome. Thanks for coming by. Thanks for coming by to talk about favorite films of the year.
Yeah, sorry that I. It was a really sad year in movies. I thought I would have more to say, um, and I was just thinking, oh, maybe I shouldn't show up because I have nothing to say. How have I only watched these movies? How is this possible? Um, but yeah, I guess was just a bad year for cinema in general.
It was. Sadly, it was. Yeah, very sad. But whew.
Yeah,
Well, in the
but
meantime,
still fun to talk about. Yeah.
it is. Yeah, it's still fun. But where can people find you if they're looking for you or your work?
I My work is available pretty much everywhere. Series is called Timelessness. First book is Weird Gods, and it's still on sale on Amazon. The ebooks are all 99 cents.
Hmm,
And you can find me on the page chewing forums on YouTube, Den of the Weird, or on X as Chronodendron.
nice. Well, thanks again for joining me today. It's always
Oh.
fun. I didn't want to have to talk to myself for 40 minutes, so I'm glad you showed up.
Well, you're welcome, and Happy New Year.
Yes, you too.
Yeah.
Cool. We'll talk to everyone very soon. Hope let's fingers crossed 2024 is a little bit better in cinema.
Yeah. Enjoy.
Okay.
Thank you.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Bye.